Shall we begin by talking about what happened in Epping yesterday? Well, I say yesterday, but it actually goes back further than that, of course. As you can see here, reported by the BBC, can't help but be reminded of the last segment we were on together, Josh.
Man.
From your deep research of the subject, Josh, what could you maybe tell us about this man?
He is not just any man, he is a foreign man.
He is a foreign man, and his name is Hadush Kebatu.
I never would have guessed.
Yes.
Oh, wait, I would have.
He must be from, Wales, is it? Or somewhere? It's a classic northern name.
He's an Ethiopian.
He is Ethiopian.
By the way, this man has caused an awful lot of problems, right? Man and men. And because Jess Phillips is absolutely right. She was saying today, you know the problem is, it's men. And I look at his headline, she's absolutely right. It's man.
Well, she can only go off of what trusted sources like the BBC tell her, can she?
Yeah.
It's like Florida Man, isn't it?
Yes.
How can he keep on getting away with it? That's the question.
So, but obviously, like with so many things here, these men, just men, always have it as a dark turn whenever you see that in a news article. And in the case of this one, it's particularly ridiculous because it's alleged that he sexually assaulted a 14-year-old girl living in Epping, which for those of you who are maybe outside of Britain and don't know your geography, it's actually in the county of Essex, but it's also, you can get there via the last tube point.
From the last train out of London.
Last train out of London. You can get there via Loughton. So it's connected to London, and it's another example of how London just keeps swallowing up these places that used to be outside of it. But nonetheless, this man, 8 days after the 41-year-old arrived in the UK via a boat.
Incredible. And I'm certainly not making light of this repulsive incident, but it said a man tried to kiss a schoolgirl as she ate pizza. Who tries to kiss someone while they're eating pizza? Do you know what I mean?
Ethiopians. He wanted a mouthful as well.
Yes.
Obviously, they're all very skinny, aren't
Talk
they?
about not understanding the culture. It's like I'm trying to eat a pizza. It's horrific.
Yeah, I understand why people are very angry about this, it now being serious. And it is horrible.
It's
a
repulsive.
schoolgirl shouldn't have to put up with a 41-year-old man.
No,
harassing her like that.
It's absolutely repulsive. And so there's an ongoing court investigation into whether or not he's guilty. So I may have to be careful what I say. But there was also an initial court occasion on Thursday. And it says that days after the alleged offence last Monday and Tuesday, Serena Berry, for the prosecution, told the 45-minute hearing that one of the alleged victims had been approached on a busy high street. And she said that Kebetu had no ties to anyone or any place in the UK, adding that immigration have confirmed that he was only in the UK since June 29th. So here, very, very recently, and already sexual assault. Basically. And then Raphael Pidgett, for the defence, said, I believe he is here as a refugee or asylum seeker, and that he arrived informally on a boat. Informally.
So he wasn't dressed in a full suit?
No.
Also, last time I checked, Ethiopia, not at war. I know they did have some trouble with the Tigray region, but I think that's all simmered down now, so there's no reason, really, for him to be an asylum seeker in the first place.
No, indeed. There's constant, obviously, this particular scandal, and he's been housed in the Bell Hotel, which is one of those hotels, wonderful legacy of the Tories, when they decided to put all of these illegals into hotels in small towns and villages.
I mean, it would be a lot better if it were Lib Dem and Labour voters and only those areas. Just like, you've got to live with the consequences. But, of course, it shouldn't happen at all.
No, it shouldn't happen at all. And so this has been pretty well documented. And so, of course, you have... I'll just play this on mute because I don't know what sort of language is going to be said. But you just heard there, just protect our kids, right? Mm-hmm. Perfectly pure, uncontroversial message that everyone in the country should be able to get behind.
Mm-hmm. Except for the people opposite, apparently.
Except for the people opposite with identical placards.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
And the police line protecting them.
People are chanting, protect our kids, and then they've got stand up to racism things. It's like, protect our kids. Well, that's racist.
Yeah.
It sort of
Interesting
reveals they
self-report.
understand.
I
Isn't
look forward to the headlines. Remember the last time this happened when every newspaper was like, "Oh, brave counter protest," and they all had the same placards and they all ran with the same story. It was a completely fake, made up protest. And you had like Nick Lowe saying, "Oh, this was great." Then he later admitting that it was a hoax, but it was good anyway.
Yes.
All the papers just ran with it. It was one of those COVID moments, one of those kind of like mask off. Oh, you're not really the news, are you? You know, it was just like every front page.
It was a Wednesday in the Southport riots, wasn't it? I remember it very vividly because all of Swindon High Street closed down because they'd received reports that there was going to be a far-right demonstration walking down Manchester Road, which is a very Islamic and very crime-ridden area. It's like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen because there's a mosque there. And as we know from the Southport riots, the mosques usually contain weapons. And, yeah, it was obviously just a hoax. Everywhere closed. And it just gave the counter-protesters an opportunity to seem like they were the ascendant group. And it's obvious that the protests against immigration were all astroturfed on that specific day to facilitate them. Because, let's be honest, if they met on an even playing field, the stand-up to racism people would not stand a chance.
No, not at all. No, not at all.
They need the police protection, otherwise they are done for.
They do. But the story of what's currently happening in Epping is the story of what happens basically every week now in the country, where these tensions continue to grow more and more. And you have here the Epping Forest Council leader who was saying that we never wanted that migrant hotel. The community didn't want it. The council didn't want it. But the government, this would have been the Tories, back when they were in charge, basically told us, you're going to make that into a migrant hotel. And obviously you're going to have that danger on your doorstep. And, for my part, this sounds pretty much identical a story to when I actually did a little bit of genuine on-the-ground investigations of my own a year back when I went to RAF Scampton. And that's exactly the story that I had from the locals there too. Didn't matter, there was no consent in it. You were simply told that you are going to have 2,000 illegal migrants just plonked next to you with nothing more than a metal fence next to your village of 600.
You mean a central government is going against the wills of not only the local people, but the local government as well? Well, that never happens all across the world every day.
And you can see a helpful map here of where the Forest Hotel is and where the school is, just up here.
Just around the corner,
Just around the corner. Just around the corner.
It reminds me of they're trying to build a mosque in Cumbria, in my home. It's not that near to the lakes where I'm from, but it's still in Cumbria, and everyone keeps helpfully tagging me in it, and I, of course, get really annoyed every time. But to be fair, the local suppliers and stuff are all refusing to get involved with it, and someone also, and obviously I'm not condoning this, but someone smashed the camera there as well in a car with no license plates. But this is what will happen. Because this Epping thing, the government's position is illegal migrants should come over and they should be allowed to just rape your children. And then they'll get special treatment in the two-tier justice system. We have no borders. And that's not a society, is it? That's not a country. So, of course, people are going to rebel. And I'm amazed that it's only been relatively mild and it's only just starting, but it's going to get worse, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, we were saying, weren't we, that, between what happened in Ireland recently, between what you're saying in little towns in Spain, it's just becoming more and more regular, this sort of thing, all across Europe.
When people have nothing to lose, they've got nothing to, there's got no risk to going out and protesting on the street or even rioting.
But how could it not happen? It really seems like they're doing everything they can. And obviously, Professor David Betts has said things like this. It seems like they're doing everything they can to provoke civil unrest. I'm not saying it is deliberate. It's just they're doing all the things you would do if it was deliberate. You almost wonder if it's like telling yourself, like, oh, don't trip up or something, and then you trip up. It's like that's the one thing they're so afraid of, which is a sort of a majority of the native majority in a country sort of rising up and organizing. That's the one thing they're doing everything they can to provoke, ostensibly, right? That's so strange.
Also, it's not actually related to this message I got up from him, but Morgoth made a really good point earlier on this week, I believe it was, which was that if the British state was entirely incompetent, every now and then that incompetence would actually benefit us.
Right. By chance.
By chance, at some point, it would actually benefit us. But it never does. It never does. It always has the worst possible outcome.
Yeah.
And so what can you do but ascribe malicious intent?
Dominic Cummings did a speech on it recently, which I did a reaction to. It's exactly what he says, it's the pathological system working as intended. It's not just that it does bad things, it also stops anything good. He was saying there's a few skilled migrants, immigrants, proper skilled people we might actually want to take, but he says the Home Office is waging a jihad against them. That's the word he used. So they also stop everything good. There was just a story the other day about a British highly qualified medical student can't get a job as a doctor despite the massive shortage.
Actually covered that
Right.
at Lotus Eaters.
Oh, brilliant.
And they're bringing in people from countries where you can't take the qualifications at face value.
Right.
And actually, British doctors are some of the best qualified in the world. I think the only ones that outperformed them off the top of my head were South African, presumably white South African, and Australian maybe, and US, but they're all in the same sort of ballpark. But you can see a commonality there of developed countries with good infrastructure and the ability to train good doctors.
Yeah. So I take Morgoth's point. It's like,
Yes.
it only does bad things, nothing good. Very strange. Yeah, like you say, you'd think it'd be like, oh, but we've got some good doctors. No, they're stopping the doctors. Oh,
And making them worse, yeah.
right. So nothing works. Everything is opposite world.
Yes, it is. And, some people with an experience of opposite world are, of course, the people in Epping themselves. And as Morgoth points out here in a text from a friend, that Epping is one of them places the East End Cockneys fled to. And they know that there's nowhere else to go. Because, of course, it's not merely the question of London and the demographics of London is not entirely based around just the foreigners who've moved in there. It's also the indigenous white English people who have fled it as well because of the state of it.
But when you go, it's like you said, Epping's the end of the line. So when you go to the end of the line, it's like, we can't back up any further. So now we have to fight back.
Yeah, which is why I thought it was relevant to bring up.
Yeah.
And you get this, and obviously Essex as a county as well. You get with Farage's seat in Clacton. Clacton, famously another town that's got a lot of the people who've flown from London.
The Cockney diaspora, or what?
Yeah.
What do you call it?
Lotus Eater's own Bodade, of course, an Essex man.
He is Essex man. So I actually thought that this was worth playing. It's a little bit lengthy, but I think it should be listened to all the way
Give me,
through.
and I'm not going to sing. Good for you. But listen, I just want to thank everyone for coming here today. We're all local people. We're all good, local, tax-paying people. We don't want trouble. We don't want fights. My question would be, why, and all due respect to the police, why are you allowing agitators to come and fight against us? Because you are inciting violence. We're not. You are. Mr. Starmer, I hope you're going to hear, I hope you hear this. Why are you letting 500-600 undocumented men come across the channel every day into this country? We don't know who they are. We don't know what their background is, but they don't share our values. They don't respect women, and they do not respect children.
Yes!
I am a mother of 3. I've got 4 nieces under 10. Every child's right is to walk to school and not fear that they're going to be sexually assaulted or raped. We do not live in a third world country. This is the United Kingdom the last time I looked. This is not about racism. I don't care if the men in that hotel over there are green, yellow or pink. We don't know who they are. They may be nice men. I don't know, no one knows. The likelihood is they're probably not. But a man gets off a boat from Ethiopia. He has come across Europe to come to this country. Why? Because we are a soft touch. We give them everything that they want, and then they turn around and abuse us.
I'll leave it there. But she speaks very well.
She does, yeah.
She speaks very, very well, and I wanted to give her the opportunity to obviously speak on this as well, so to amplify a message. But she also, interestingly, towards the end of this speech, goes on to say that don't care anymore what you call us. Don't care about being called far right. Don't care about being called racist.
It makes me laugh these days, to be honest. If someone calls me racist, I'm like, you don't even know.
Yeah, but I thought what was notable there is for people who follow this stuff for a living, people on our side and stuff, we're well used to knowing that when someone says that now, it's just a disingenuous way. It's just a way to attack you, and you should dismiss it completely. But for an ordinary woman who's not in this business, who's as a woman high in agreeableness, to quote Jordan Peterson.
Right.
More women traditionally care more about social conventional, social approval. So to say at this point, I don't care about being called far, she says, if that's what I have to take, if I have to take that label, I will bear it.
Yes.
That's a significant moment.
Yes. You would rather be a racist that prevents rape than
Yeah, because they're protecting their
the
children,
opposite.
and they're like, fine, I'm far right, I'm protecting my child.
I'm amazed at how fatigued people are about hearing about this sort of thing, as in being called racist. It's like, yeah, I don't care anymore. No one cares. It's so overdone that the word doesn't have any meaning. And there are lots of people that are just embracing it now and just saying, sure, okay.
Yeah.
If that's the price of protecting children from sexual assault, then so be it.
Yeah, when can I have a border again? Yeah, 'cause exactly. Boats showing up every day with rapists, ready-made rapists coming off the boat and assaulting children. You're like, okay, fine, yeah, I'm racist then. Sort the
But
boat.
also, it's not just the illegals as well, is
No,
it?
of course.
It's the much larger problem of the legal migrants, many of which are coming from the same places that the illegals are coming from. So it's exactly the same problem, but even more pernicious, really.
I agree. But there's another point to these posts here about actually just look at the fact that they're clearly homemade, right? Against what the totally non-astroturfed counter-protest are coming with. You can tell that the community have actually made these themselves.
Yeah, those astroturfed counter-protest people, they're like the people who show up with the full kit first day at football. You know what I mean? They're the full kit people. They can't even play, but they've got all the stuff. They've got the best tennis racket, whatever it is.
All the gear and no idea.
Exactly. These are the real people with the homemade signs.
They are. But because of the tensions, of course, and the ever-increasing feeling of how the police are not on the side of ordinary people, and of course, I shouldn't need to say this, but I obviously preface, I don't endorse violence, I don't endorse rioting, we here don't endorse that, but what we are saying is we understand why things have got to this point, why the anger has built so much that eventually you see things like this.
I've got sympathy for people being angry.
So things did get quite aggressive, actually, out there. There was a lot that I saw, but this is probably the most, infamous part going around. I have no idea if that person's okay. But that was really, really awful. And when you compare the way that the police are just using their vans as battering rams against the barricades, when you compare the way that they were accelerating into that man, compare that to how they handled something like the Hare Hills riots in Leeds last year.
Yeah, they just fled, didn't they?
They just fled and let that diverse community just incinerate the place to the ground, light the police cars on fire.
And you can also compare it to those people that glue themselves to the road, and they're treated like, until very recently, they were treated like kings. Remember, there's Just Stop Oil, then there's the other one, the insulation nutters, can't remember their name now.
Insulate Britain.
Yeah, and they would glue themselves to the road, and it'd be like, oh, do you want a cup of tea? It's like, you didn't just get slammed. It's just like, we've seen a car slam someone before, and I recall it was quite controversial.
One thing that's worth mentioning here... Okay, you've pulled that up. That's funny. It's worth mentioning that I don't actually think the person who hit that man did it deliberately, because if you notice, the van that follows up sees what happens and slows down a little bit. And I think usually the police are told not to hit people, so she might even get in trouble for that with the police. But I'm not being some sort of quisling here. I'm just adding a little bit of nuance.
Yeah. Well, I saw someone on Twitter saying, "Oh, the right wing people say, oh, the guys shouldn't have stamped on the police should stamp on their face with the Manchester airport incident, but not this." Of course, they're not exactly similar, are they? One of them, the guy had broken a woman's nose. Do you know what I mean? This is people protesting
I saw the
against
video of her after. She was in deep trauma.
It's horrific.
Yeah, it was really
This
awful.
is very angry people who've been pushed too far, protesting against kids being assaulted. Very, very different. But people are like, oh, which is it, far right? It's like, well, no, we want the police to do their job properly. But it's a hard job, of course. But those incidents aren't really equivalent, are they?
Well, I'd rather those Pakistanis weren't let in the country in the first place. So it never would have happened if I had my way. You know, these people are at least English.
Yes. I won't play more footage, you get the idea. But this image came out and instantly became iconic. There's a lot of symbolism in this image, I would say. The England flag, the police van, very David and Goliath, isn't it, in a way?
Epping Square. It's like Tiananmen Square, isn't it? Staring down the tank.
On a very British roundabout.
That's true. A little mini roundabout there that the police are driving straight over by the looks of it.
Yes, yeah.
Not allowed to do that. That's a traffic violation.
image
Can't park there, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call this image when the English began to hate, couldn't you? It's like, what is that line? With long arrears. Do you remember that line from Kipling?
Oh, the Kipling.
Of course,
poem.
yeah.
I'll find it. It's with long arrears to make good. That's how it feels. It's been a long time coming, but it was inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
It was. And so with all of this, of course, you have the problem that, as a bit like I reiterated with the question in Spain as well, we see it here as well, because the British actually have quite a long memory, right? We remember Southport, we remember Leeds, people remember...
It's only last year.
Well, but like...
I know what you're
further back,
saying.
you know what we mean? It's like all these little things just add towards a bigger picture in the minds
A lot
of...
of noticing and remembering.
A lot of noticing of the way that authority acts with the Palestine protests, or with BLM, or with any of... I know that Lord Hermer assured us that there was no two-tier policing in the United Kingdom.
Oh, well, that's a relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just happen to think he's a bit of a liar.
I didn't see an awful lot of kneeling here.
No,
No,
I didn't. No.
There is also one other point. I've realised that I've skipped it because I was looking for where it was, which is that... Where is it? Sorry. I thought I had the link, but it seems not to be there. Is the fact that, of course, the anti-protesters, or the counter-protesters, I should say, were being escorted down by the police. And you can see that as soon as tensions are already very, very high. And because a child has probably been sexually assaulted by a man who shouldn't be in the country, the moment that you start putting counter-protesters in the faces of all these mums and dads who are very, very concerned about the safety of their children in the neighbourhood, and these people who have the temerity to stand there and
Probably
just go,
not from the community either. Probably bust in.
well, that's the point, because they were bussed in by the police, and they were also bussed out, which is the video that, I was trying to get for you. But it speaks to, as you say, Josh, the fact that these people are not local.
They're not from round here.
They're not even from round here. And so you have this thing, and as we were saying as well, we know how many, as you said, with the Southport riots, and then when those left-wing protests just spouted up all over the country.
Stuff that you do. That I do.
Well, sorry? Anyway.
Noise coming out the TV.
Yeah, noise from the TV.
I think it was maybe finding that clip you were talking about.
Yes. So you have this constant thing where you can tell that these people are genuinely just there to agitate, right? Possibly at the behest of the government or an NGO or any of,
And they've got identical signs to one another. They're
Yeah.
all the same sorts of full-time protesters, no lifers.
No.
Those sorts of people.
It's very, very suspicious. And I can see even just ordinary people now starting to put those two things together.
Yeah.
They know that this is totally inorganic and comes about everywhere. Oh, thank you very much, Harry. I'll just play that.
Local resident support, so you can hear me. This is who local residents support.
I'll just take it to here. So you can see them all being very, very civilly just sort of ushered on by the police, and they all get into the vans, and they're taken away at the end of the day after a hard day's work agitating.
The police shouldn't be taking sides in a protest like this. This is a great way to delegitimize themselves, and, for better or worse.
Yeah, because, again, it shows that the impartiality of the police is not impartial.
Well, there's no such thing as impartiality in any life. It's
impartiality is always partial, but it's sometimes a little more subtle than at others. And the police don't understand subtlety at all. And so you had a statement from the police with respect to what happened yesterday, where they just said that I'm sure those living in Epping have concerns following tonight. I share those concerns. We know the people who carried out these crimes do not represent Epping or Essex. Nothing about the offending we saw tonight is representative of these communities or the peaceful event that ended before this started. But the one thing that I want to draw attention to is the fact that the police seem to be under a misapprehension that just because they wear a uniform, they think that just entitles to them to respect.
Respect has to be earned, doesn't it?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And any goodwill that the police had has just been eviscerated over these past few years.
Yes, because as you say, they become completely politicized, and obviously they're going to reflect the ideology of the prevailing regime, and that's all they are. They're the enforcement arm of the prevailing regime. So you've got progressive liberal police, and it's as horrific as that you'd assume.
If I were to get particularly libertarian, which I know no one wants me to, but I'm going to do anyway, the government acts like an armed gang, just like any criminal gang. Just because they've got authority and they say they have power doesn't mean that they actually deserve it or warrant it or deserve any respect. They use violence to get their own way, the same as any criminal does. I don't see them as much different, to be honest. In many ways, criminals at least have a code of honour. They'll do anything to get what they want, clearly.
Well,
yeah, there's another take that isn't the full libertarian take, is it? But there was a time fairly recently where, that notwithstanding, they were still doing a job that the average person would go, I'm broadly okay with that.
There was still some degree of consent.
Yeah. And that's what's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that, of course, is to go back to Morgoth's point about these people who have left and fled to Epping, is because they simply didn't consent to the changes that had been forced upon them living in London. They didn't, and they obviously realised that London was just dwindling more and more into a two-tier society, in which even the worst scumbag migrant, delinquent, would be treated with kid gloves, and they would receive, as Keir Starmer would put it, the full force of the law, right? We can't also forget that just last year, the police also told that mosque to basically be used as an arsenal, and you can store your weapons there before you go out, right?
That's an unprecedented break from English law, isn't it?
People remember these things, right? And they pay attention far more than the government ever gives them credit for.
Do you think we're heading towards just different areas of the country? When I was watching Callum's documentary a while ago, that really bleak one where he talks about the census, I ended up thinking British people are just going to retreat to rural pockets and live on kind of reservations. This is how I saw it going, and completely abandon the cities. What you have here is people have abandoned the cities, then they're still pursued. It's like, no, we're putting these people next to your school. Then they go, right, we've got nowhere else to go, so now it's war. And we're just going to have areas where maybe those people get the message and they do get out of Epping, but so Epping's just like an enclave of former Cockneys. Is it just going to be like that soon?
Well, people can only flee so far, and once their backs are up against a wall, it's like a cornered animal, isn't it? It's at its most dangerous. And when you corner the people who, helped create the largest empire the world has ever known, that's a bad recipe. You're going to have some serious trouble there, and I don't think the government really realises what they're doing to the British people.
What we've never seen is a sort of British no-go area, but Epping or anywhere could become that if this kind of thing carries on. Now, maybe they'll be cracked down upon so brutally that actually they just have to, back down. But it'd be, I say, interesting to see in a really horrific way how this plays out.
Interesting to see in the sense that you feel like in your future you're going to be forced to look at it.
Yeah,
right?
It's horrible. I woke up today thinking I can't believe, because I was thinking about Epping, so I just can't believe what the degeneration I've seen in my lifetime. It was unthinkable at one point that England would be a place where we see these kind of scenes. It's just unthinkable. Here we are.
So if you want to help protect Epping and help the community, I thought that it would be a good idea to share this petition that was put forward by the leader of the council that I referenced earlier. And it's a petition to basically get that migrant hotel shut down and removed from the area. So if you'd like to, you can go and sign that petition, and perhaps, hopefully, it may do some good. But obviously, as I say, I don't endorse violence, but we are seeing it become far more regular, and the tensions and patience of the British people is tested more and more every day.
If you would like to watch the full uncut version that is also uncensored, head on over to lotuseaters.com to find out more.